When you're just starting painting with watercolors, it can be overwhelming trying to create a color palette. So I often suggest you just start with one color, and that is called a monochromatic color scheme. I am a huge fan of it, and you can create some really beautiful artwork using just one color. So today I'm going to show you how to create a color palette with just one color. Hi, I'm Brett Blumenthal, and this is my YouTube channel where I share lots of great tips on how to paint with watercolors. If you're new to watercolors, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to download all of the great resources in the links below. With that, let's get started on how to create a monochromatic color palette using watercolors. I love monochromatic color schemes because they are very easy to paint with and they can be a lot of fun. You can create some beautiful art just with one color. So there are three things you need to understand. One is you're going to have your values, which is going to essentially be different levels of intensity of the color. You're also going to have something called tones, which is the same color mixed with a little bit of gray. And depending on how much gray is in that mixture, you'll have more of a darker tone than you would otherwise. And then you have your shade, which is mixing it with black. With acrylics and oils, you would use white to create tints. However, because watercolor is translucent, you don't need to use whites. You use the paper as your white. And so the values that we get are essentially going to be the tints, depending on how much water you have in the mixture of your paint. So I'm going to grab a brush and I'm going to just create some values of this permanent red that I have. You hopefully saw one of my videos on how to get the right mixture of paint. If you did not, please check out my water to paint ratio video where I teach you how to create the right values. But this is a very light value of this paint. So here I'm just going to paint this right here. Now, if you took this and you added a tad of gray, this is gray, not black, and you mixed it together, you would have a tone of this color. And I want to make mention, actually, before I get any further, that when you're using a gray to mix to get a monochromatic color scheme, you want to use a neutral tint gray. This is going to have no shade of blue or red in it. So it's not going to lean towards warm or cool. It's right in the middle. So this is what you want to use when creating your color palettes. Neutral tint, which is gray. And then I have here, whoops, for my black, I have an ivory black. So this is the tint, or I'm sorry, this is the tone with that neutral gray. Now I'm going to grab a little of the black that I have. And you'll see it has a darker value, if you will, than the neutral gray. Okay, so those are your T levels of color. Now we're going to make the mixture a little thicker. I have a little gray in there, but it's okay. So we're going to want a little bit more of a coffee consistency, which this sort of has. And that'll be our next value. This is the tea to butter method that we're using. And I'm going to mix that in here with my neutral tint and my black. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the neutral tint. There's probably a lot of the neutral tint, and paint it here. And now I'm going to grab some of the black and mix it in over here. Now clearly, depending on how much black and how much gray you use, you're going to get different values in your palette. So this is actually pretty much the same. So I'm going to add a little bit more red, a little thicker red, just to get a little bit of a variation there. Okay, now again, I want a thicker consistency, so I'm going to grab some more of the red, and we're going to look for a milk consistency, which this is pretty close. A little extra paint here. Okay. And now once again, I'm going to mix that with the gray. I feel like I could add a little gray to that. So bear with me. I don't want to add too much because then it really makes it heavy, but actually it's pretty heavy, but let's see what it looks like. And then some of the black to get my shade. There you go. And so there are clearly going to be lots of variations to this. The more you mix, the actual color you mix with gray versus black, different shades you'll get. And we're trying to get some cream consistency here. A little thicker. It's kind of the same, isn't it? There we go. Okay, and we're going to add that to our gray. And we're going to add it to our black. Now, the gray and the black really don't seem that different. You can get some really dark colors here the more of the black you use. I'm just going to really thicken that up. And so even though this color tends to have almost like a black or really dark gray consistency, it still has the undertone of that red. So this is how you create your watercolor palette. I didn't go all the way to the butter, which is the thickest level of the red, but you can see that the tints are here because your paper is adding the white level to your actual color. This is your grays, which are your tones, and then this is your blacks, which are your shades. And I just want to write that out so that you have it. So again, your tints are just how thick your paint is going to be. And then your tones are the color mixed with gray. And then your shades are your colors mixed with black. And so this is technically plus white, but you don't really add the white because the paper is your white. So this is your color palette, and it's beautiful. You can do so much with just this one color mixed with both gray and black and the different values of the color itself. As always, thanks so much for watching, and if you found these tips helpful, please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to download all of the great resources in the links below. I'll see you in the next video.